67 years ago, in the central Chinese city of Wuchang, a shot was fired by revolutionary soldiers in an uprising that led scarcely 3 months later to the toppling of the Manchu dynasty and the establishment of the first republic in Asia. That day has been commemorated by free Chinese the world over as the National Day of the Republic of China. Because it falls on the 10th day of the 10th month, it is affectionately known as the Double 10th. This year, 1978, it rained in Taipei, capital of the island bastion. There was, however, excitement in the air. There had not been a military parade on that day for the last several years. There is going to be one now. In honor of the new president, Chiang Ching-kuo, who was sworn into office less than 5 months ago on May 20th. And also to demonstrate to the world that free China means business when she vows to maintain her prosperous and democratic way of life. 20,000 overseas Chinese come from all over the world to help celebrate the day. Foreign guests come from many countries, with or without formal relations with the Republic. Because of inclement weather, the fly-past of planes has to be canceled. The parade commander reports to the commander-in-chief that there will be 12,037 men and women passing through the stands in formation. The Republic of China, with 17 million people, maintains a standing army of 500,000, almost 3% of the total population. There is universal military service. Every able-bodied male reaching the age of 18 serves 2 years. College students get deferment until they graduate. There are over 2 million in the immediate reserve. The parade begins. First come the bands of the armed forces led by the national flag and the standards of the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and a fourth branch, the Combined Service Forces. Cadets of the Chung-cheng Military Preparatory Academy enroll when they are 15 or 16, study for 3 years, and go on to one of the service academies, just like a Western prep school. The military academy, founded by the late President Chiang Kai-shek, who was its first commandant in 1924, offers academic training in addition to military courses. After 4 years, a cadet graduates with a science or engineering degree and receives a lieutenant's commission. It is an honor to become an officer in the regular Army. For specialization, there are infantry school, artillery school, signal, engineering, and others. Then there is the Command and General Staff College for field officers and Armed Forces University for general officers. The Naval Academy sent its midshipmen to the parade. As an island dependent upon trade to survive, the country maintains a small but tough naval force with a full marine component. Anti-submarine warfare is stressed in its training program. The Chinese Air Force has an enviable tradition. It scored a kill ratio of 31-1 against MiGs in the last Taiwan Straits air battle of 1958. The three service academies are geographically close to each other, all in the vicinity of the southern port city of Kaohsiung. Yet another school unique in its curriculum is the Political Warfare Academy, the training center for officers in psychological warfare, public information, USO, and other activities that a modern army engages in. Graduates of this academy can be found at the most remote outposts. They run post newspapers, movie projectors, PX, and clubs. Their job is to keep morale high at all times. Besides sending a battalion of male cadets, the Political Warfare Academy also fielded a company of its women cadets. The Chinese service academies have not yet begun to accept female students. Besides nursing students at the National Defense Medical College, this is the only place for women to train for a regular Army commission. All must be high school graduates between the ages of 18 and 22. If you think the girls march at a faster pace, you are not mistaken. The girls are quick-stepping it at the pace of 136 steps per minute. Just try to count it. More women in uniform. This time, militia women from the offshore islands of Quemoy and Matsu. At their closest point, both island groups are only a mile or so from the communist mainland. All able-bodied men and women have been organized into militia units. Although they can shoot as well as men, these women's jobs are to provide rear area support and care for the wounded in time of war. They train for a few hours each month, and there is no pay. Similarly, the militiamen from the offshore islands are local farmers and fishermen who want to help defend their homes. Now the reserve unit from the 64 islets called the Pescadores. They are the only reservists to march on foot in the parade. Finally, the regular army, an infantry brigade with 2 foot battalions and 1 airborne battalion. The average age of enlisted men is in the early 20s. All are conscripts, a small percentage re-enlist. They are tough, well-trained, educated, intelligent, and highly motivated. All the infantry weapons carried by these troops, from the M16 rifle to automatic weapons, mortars, and recoilless rifles, are made in Taiwan, even artillery pieces and military vehicles. Airborne troops are so essential to modern warfare that they no longer form separate units. In the parade 10 years ago, they rode in trucks past the reviewing stand. Now they march like everybody else. complement from the Chinese Navy. Some of these normally shipborne sailors have been stationed as far away as the Paracel Islands. Because it is harder to train a sailor than a soldier, those who enlist in the Navy must serve 3 years instead of 2. In any country, the Marines are usually tougher because more is expected of them. The boot camp tradition is as alive in Soying as it is in Camp Pendleton. In 1958, when Chinese Communist artillery completely choked off Quemoy, it was the Marines who kept the supplies coming in spite of 24-hour interdiction fire. For a brief pause, the drum and bugle corps of the 3 service branches now march past the reviewing stand. First come the Army's contingent, 108 students from the Army's first non-commissioned officer school. Of course, the Navy can't be too far behind. This group has played before many foreign audiences as a part of the fleet's visit to friendly ports. The Air Force Drum and Bugle Corps is made up of cadets from the Air Academy. Original planning called for the appearance at this time of the Army's aviation group, flying UH-1H helicopters co-produced in Taiwan under license from Bell. It was canceled due to the weather. The military police is a select group. They must study many subjects from traffic control to civil and criminal law. In military training, they must meet rigid standards. Those given honor guard duty at the Martyrs' Shrine, for example, must learn to stand for hours without moving a muscle. The Signal Corps is the nerve system of any army. Here, a mobile signal company that provides communication support between the land and the sea. A contingent from the Amphibious Reconnaissance Battalion, better known as the Frogmen. Each must be a champion swimmer and diver, a karate and kung fu expert, a demolition man, and an all-around athlete. Stationed on the offshore islands, the Frogmen's daring feats have become legend in the battle for Quemoy. Some have gone to the communist-held island of Amoy and come back with movie ticket stubs to prove they've been there. Here come reserve units from the cities and counties of Taiwan. They were called back into uniform just a week ago and will return to civilian life tomorrow. The reserve forces are so well organized that no individual call was necessary. The government just issued an order. It was repeated by TV, radio, and newspapers. By the appointed time, more than 99.9% had reported to duty. There are always a few who had to postpone their wedding or forego other personal commitments. But this is the Army, and their brides do understand. A field artillery battalion. First come the 8-inch howitzers that throw a powerful punch. In 1958, when Quemoy received more pounding per square foot than either Guadalcanal or Iwo Jima, it was these giants that persuaded Mao to change his mind. .155mm cannons had been on parade before. The difference this year is that these are made in Taiwan. Air defense missile units of the Republic of China are equipped with both Nike Hercules and Hawk ground-to-air missiles. First, the smaller Hawk, computer-operated, able to track down enemy jets with incredible accuracy. Next, the Nike Hercules, radar-directed killer at high altitudes. And for the first time, a guided missile designed and manufactured by the Free Chinese. It is christened Chung-cheng, meaning the drone, with an inertial guidance system that leads it to the target without fail. A ground-to-ground missile, it has been deployed in both Army and Navy units. The construction workers of the Army, the Engineering Corps. This is just one company with its heavy construction and pontoon bridge equipment. Now the Armored Corps, 1st and Infantry Battalion. These are M113 amphibious personnel carriers. Each of these ducks carries 13 fully equipped men with their automatic weapons and mortars. Next, a rocket company. These multiple rocket launchers are also making their debut. Dubbed the Worker B-4, each can hurl 40 rockets at a concentrated target within 16 seconds. An artillery battalion of the Armored Corps. The M108 self-propelled 105mm gun, able to fight over any terrain. The M42, equipped with 2 anti-aircraft guns, stands guard against any low-flying aircraft. Finally, the rumbling tanks that literally shake the ground over which they pass in review. A total of 170 tanks, mostly M48s. The workhorse of a modern tank battalion. Planning a parade is an intricate operation. Those who march on foot and those who ride fast move with varying speeds. All routes have to be kept free of traffic. By now, the honor guards reappear so that the last of the foot soldiers may have time to return to the presidential plaza in pre-designated areas. The whole operation must move swiftly, like a jeweled watch movement. Not a second can be wasted. The parade commander gives the order, and the assembled troops, all 12,000 of them, double step to the huge plaza immediately in front of the reviewing stand. A tidal wave of color, men and women in all kinds of uniforms. They may be soaking wet, but their spirit cannot be higher. A moving sight, an unforgettable scene. Now they are going to hear their commander-in-chief, President Chiang Ching-kuo.
亲爱的同胞们，
The president said he is pleased to see the officers and men from all branches of the armed forces, those from the front line and those in the reserve units. He praised them for their performance in the parade, their high spirits and their magnificent posture.
虚心
He said this has conclusively shown that the armed forces are superbly trained, that their morale is extraordinarily high.
雄壮
The
的
various weapons paraded past the reviewing stand, he said, although representing only a very small fraction of the total equipment, attested to the country's potential in weapons production and to its ability to
海
use
中
them.
空中联军和
In particular, he said the parade testified to the combat spirit of the armed forces on both the battlefront and the production front.
这边
That is the result of tight organization, close cooperation, common will, and concentrated strength.
5个身
He
体
expressed his gratification and extended his best wishes to all of them.
拥有商人
From the parade, he said all Chinese at home and abroad can see that the country is moving ahead, that there has been tremendous progress in social development and everything else, and that a promising future lies ahead.
身份。同胞们，今天我们面对艰难的时事，
Fellow
要大
countrymen,
家
although we are now faced with a difficult situation,
丰富
as
的
long
表
as we
达
can unite totally and sincerely,
中
exert
国
ourselves,
战功的
and
英雄
carry out the teachings of the late president,
积极的努力，
accumulate our gains little by little, and move forward step by step,
看我
we can overcome any difficulty and open up a new vista for the country that we all love.
能够创造形势，消灭共敌，重振中华后代，拯救大陆同胞。反正最后的，永远属于我们的反攻复国的胜利。 三民主义万岁！
The slogans mean, long live the three principles of the people, which are the teachings of the late Dr. Sun Yat-sen, the father of the Republic, and long live the Republic of China. The anniversary of any nation is a day for reflecting on its past and considering its future. On this 67th birthday of their republic, the people of free China have reflected on the hard work that brought them unprecedented prosperity and a free way of life. They are convinced of the path they have chosen and look confidently down the road to the full realization of their national goals.